everyone. Welcome to season 2, episode 9 of the What You're Thinking podcast. I'm Eric.
I'm Vince.
And this is the second to last episode of the season, so you know we packed a good one for you. We're going to talk about a few different things. Firstly, Tinder and possibly them making background check information available on your profile so people can see that when they swipe. We're also going to talk about Roddy Ricch and him thinking that artists need to respect the Grammys a little more, as well as what you're eating and what it could do to you. So let's jump right into it. For the first hit the brakes or carry on topic, I was wondering, so I saw this in the news a few days ago and said shots in arms and money in pockets is what President Biden is aiming for to restore faith in the government. So I just want to know, do you want to hit the brakes or do you want to carry on that?
We can hit the brakes on that.
Okay. So what are your thoughts on it first?
Well, I think it's pretty good marketing for the majority. I mean, sourcing everything that we went through with the Trump era, it's definitely a little uplifting to know that someone actually cares on that magnitude. Because it's easy for you to just be president, run the country, and then just not really care about the general public and only focus on like overseas affairs and things like that. Like deals with France and the typical stuff that the president would deal with, nuking a country, right. Things like that. So to know that we have our own governments set up in each state, and our president is going this hard for everyone. To me, that's huge, and to me, it's perfect marketing to try to like let people. It's the easiest way to make people fall in love with you, basically. We went through a huge pandemic. It messed up the entire year of 2020. I mean, no one traveled. You couldn't do anything last year except go to the park or maybe look at a bird fly in the sky. So for someone to literally reflect on all that, take charge and then say like, this is what we're going to do as a whole together. That's huge to me. And to simply say like, hey, I could have my people suffering. I could hold on to this money. I could put it somewhere else, and I could just bribe people and make them feel like I actually care about what I'm saying or what I'm trying to do. But this man literally said like, all right, you guys are reaching out to the government. You guys need help. Here it is. Boom. And then that was it. And then, oh yeah, we gave you money a few months ago, but here's what we owe you. Here's your 2,000, basically. That to me that's huge, and that's perfect marketing for the magnitude that he's on. How do you feel?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. It's been very hectic throughout this pandemic thing, and I think now is the time to restore faith in the government. Just because we had 4 horrible years with Trump, and to see someone be the exact opposite. I'm looking at it, and honestly, I'm not sure what day it is, but I want to say probably it's like maybe 70 something days into his presidency, if I had to guess. But he's moving so swiftly. Like, you're seeing the results. You're seeing, testing was done, when the pandemic first started and Trump was in there. But even that was not as good as it could be. So there's people getting tested now. There's people getting vaccinated at a super high rate. That's good. People are taking things seriously, it seems like. So that's all good signs. But I think, trust takes time. Like, there have been many years sitting here where people did not trust the government. And I'm not just talking about certain groups of people like black people and other types of minorities. Just in general, a lot of people don't trust the government. But with Biden moving so quickly and seeing results and getting bills signed and vaccines rolled out and all that, I think, will restore the faith for some in the government, because it's like, wow, this can happen if certain things are. Now, obviously, the Senate is Democratic, the president is Democrat, and all that, so that helps. But it just shows that this can happen if enough people are right-minded, so to speak, or like-minded, and getting things done and are passionate about that. So I think that's definitely something that is a good sign and something to aim for. Even with the stimulus bills, like excluding unemployment insurance, like we've already gotten, $1,200 during Trump's era and then $1,400 during Biden's era. That's already $2,600 in our pockets because of this hard time that we're on. So we're in. So I think it's definitely a good look. For the next hit the brakes carry on topic, I wanted to talk about. So I saw the other day that Tinder is going to do this thing. Obviously, we all know Tinder, the dating app, it might do this thing where they make like background check information available as part of your profile. So like, it's not only just going to have, whatever you put, like I'm 6'2" and I'm this and I'm funny. Now in addition to that, whatever you put is going to be like, oh, you've been arrested for this many tickets before. You got pulled over this before. You had a restraining order against you, like all those types of things, which I think would be wild. But I want to hear what you think on it first before I give my full opinion on it. Would you like to hit the brakes? Or do you want to carry on?
Yeah, we can hit the brakes on that. That's something I personally didn't hear about before you brought it up. But I definitely feel like it's fair because number one, you have people utilizing a product, and this particular product can determine someone's future. So let's say you match with someone who's like been running from the police for like the past 20 years or so, and is just trying to use you for like a place to crash, has like a fake ID, all that. It's like some stuff you see in a movie basically, and then you fall in love with this person. This person meets your family. This person knows everything about you. This person knows where you work, everything about you, the whole 9 yards. And then you come to find out that the entire time, like, it's been a game. It's been a lie. It's been a joke. These things are serious, and these things make people end up killing themselves. And it's no different from like what the government. So like basically the FBI had to step in. I'm getting off topic a little bit, but it's a perfect example. So like I'm sure you remember like there was this big thing where Jamaicans would be calling like elderly folk in America and basically getting them to empty out their entire bank account and send it to Jamaica. So because they're basically saying like, you could win the lottery if you send us like $500 out of your account. Yeah, it was like this big thing. The FBI had to shut it down quick. But these guys made millions of dollars, and they made millions of dollars while these individuals were like just suffering a whole bunch of mental illnesses going around, and they were just like deeply depressed. Some of them even took their lives. May they rest in peace. But a relationship is it could be just as confidential as your bank account, or like what's another example, or like your medical records. Like these things are like personal things. These things are sensitive things, and it's like if I overdrafted yesterday and my account went negative 500, that's not something I want the world to know. That's probably something you would share with someone that you live with. Like, hey babe, like my account went below 500, but that's not the point. So if you're gonna match with someone who could potentially be that person for you, that person that knows so many things, like the things I just listed about your life, and then you come to find out that it's a lie, to me, I'll be furious with Tinder. So the fact that they're stepping in and they're saying, hey, like, we know that you love our product, we know that you're utilizing our product, and we know that you depend on us to meet that person that you share these interests with, or to meet that person that you don't want to be a catfish, or you want to have a guarantee. Like, to me, that's awesome what they're doing. And for those people who just use Tinder to try to use other people, or like, they're using it to catfish someone, yeah, it's like bro, like now you guys really need to either get in the gym or step your cookies up, because I mean, this is what it comes down to. And then to me, I feel like it's very appreciative, because now they're probably not, no one's even thinking about that, but it does step into the element of mental health because of all the things that I listed earlier. And it also makes someone want to say, hey, you're single, I'm not, download Tinder. Like, it's guaranteed to, put your life in a certain direction, because they're not going to con you. They're going to have legit people there, and it's something that you would want to have in your life. And then when you're done, you just delete it. How do you feel about that?
I agree with everything you said. It's very interesting. And to kind of piggyback off what you said, it's kind of like showing the skeletons in your closet before you get a chance to say anything.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people, I'm sure, don't want to put out there certain things, but that's part of your record. So I think it's beneficial for sure, because like, you don't, 9 times out of 10, I mean, the average person is not going to want to date, or even, I mean, maybe bang, but like the average person is not going to want to date or get involved with someone that has had like 3 restraining orders against them. So, that's you put that out there, that's going to instantly, like, you're disqualified, for a lot of people. So that would be embarrassing. But on that same token, for the other person, that's beneficial, because you're knowing something, it's saving you the time, because you might have that as like a deal breaker. Like, oh no, if they have a restraining order, like, no, I'm not getting involved with that person.
Yeah, exactly.
So, so that's very interesting, I would say. It's not a judgment-free zone anyway. So people that's just giving more people a reason to judge you, if I had to put it that way. But if it was going to be on a dating app, I definitely wouldn't say Tinder, because like the way I view it is like, in terms of like the 3 top dating apps, like Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, like Tinder's the bottom. Everybody knows 9 times out of 10 you're on there just to bang. Bumble, it gives the girls the power, but we already know that's more likely to lead to something with substance, as opposed to just banging. Right. Even though something casual is one of the options on there, that's still a tier above Tinder. And then Hinge, that's when people that's known, even though some people are the exception, that's known as like where you go when you want something serious. You're not playing games. Yeah. So if it was going to be on one, I would say Hinge, because like if you're going to seriously be involved with someone, you should know certain things about them. But, of course, it's America. People are going to say that's an invasion of privacy and all that. But that's all I have to say on that topic. So for the third one, big shift gears here. But so they're still finishing selecting the last few members of the jury for the George Floyd murder and Derek Chauvin, the one that killed him, his trial. So this week, I woke up to news on Monday, it was, and it said like they requested a delay in the trial. Chauvin's defense team requested a delay in trial because of the $27 million settlement that George Floyd's family received. I know I have a lot to say on it, but do you want to hit the brakes or do you want to carry on this topic?
Yeah, we can definitely hit the brakes on this topic.
Okay.
Me personally, I feel as though a delay is not something that should have occurred because of that. If anything, the family deserves that because they lost someone who meant the world to them. You know, kids lost a father that day, and the way they lost him is super embarrassing. I mean, it went viral. You know, that's not the kind of thing you want to go viral. And I'm just trying to figure out why is it taking so long to just get this guy behind bars? This guy already proved to you virally that this is the life that he's about, and this is what he does. So what more does it take to get this animal behind bars? Why are we prolonging it? Why can't the world, because we did the protests, we had the Black Lives Matter protests. Everything went downhill during that process. It kind of went both ways. But I'm pretty sure you saw the news just like I did. You know, dealerships, everything was affected, and then on top of that, they were dealing with a pandemic. So here you have a business that's not bringing in any money like it was before, and then you have a business that gets vandalized because of a particular situation. So now fast forwarding it, this is supposed to have been over with already, but the fact that they're allowing a settlement to kind of stop the trial is worrisome, and something needs to be done because like this man we just need to close this book. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, in a perfect world, he would be found guilty and get the electric chair. Yeah. Now we only know in the deep south that's the only place you can find an electric chair. But
yeah, exactly.
If they thought black people caused a fit before, let this man off free. Watch what's gonna happen. But I would say, I'm not surprised because these type of technicalities happen all the time. That's why so many people are like on death row for like 20, 30 years because like they appeal again, then they appeal again. Like, there's just certain things you're allowed to do in the field of law. Mm-hmm. So I think it's interesting because I look at it as did Derek Chauvin's team use the $27 million settlement that George Floyd's family got because they're saying, okay, they received $27 million, so they got their justice already. They don't need him or to get justice for him. They got the money. They're good. Is that what the angle they're trying to take? Or do you think they're like, wait a minute, we need something to help strengthen our case because this, in fact, hurts us. The fact that the family got this settlement because that proves that it, in fact, was a wrongful death. So that's something I'm going to watch very closely. I mean, I'm already going to watch this trial very closely anyway, but that's something I'm going to watch closely for, particularly because it's like, I want to see what their angle is and what their motive is behind doing that. So yeah, that's all I have to say on that one. The next hit the brakes here on topic. So Mary Trump, those who don't know, that's Donald Trump's niece, and she can't stand him. Like, she's totally removed from the family because she knows how vicious that family and what type of people. I mean, how vicious that family is and what type of people are in that family, and it's like a cult following. So it's whenever she's on CNN or other networks, she always does not hold back. Just like the Trump family member that has some type of common sense. So she recently put out there that Trump was more furious about his Twitter speech being taken away as opposed to him losing the election. Do you want to hit the brakes? Or do you want to carry on that?
I want to we carry on from that. I think we're done talking about the Trumps. But shout out to Mary though.
Right, totally agree. Yeah, big shout out to Mary. She's invited to the cookout. The last hit the brakes to carry on topic is Roddy Ricch, right? So he spoke recently saying how so last year when Kanye won a Grammy, it was a famous thing that he did where he just showed a video on his Twitter. I mean, we already know he has mental health issues, but he put the Grammy in his toilet and took a video of him peeing on the Grammy. And then Jay-Z also, he's known for drinking out of a Grammy. I think this was like around 2010 or something like that. So Roddy Ricch is saying that, he thinks artists need to show more respect for it because now of all the hard work I put in and I have a song that wins a Grammy, how that's supposed to make me feel? Other people, peeing and drinking out of the same thing that, we're disrespecting. That's an interesting take because that's not a take you usually hear people say, but I want to know if you want to hit the brakes to carry on that.
We can hit the brakes on it just to give it some clarity. So based on what Roddy Ricch is saying, to me, it sounds more like a personal opinion of it. You have to keep in mind that yeah, Kanye West does have mental health issues, but at the end of the day, this guy has the money to show like, hey, I've done this, I know what's in this industry, and I know what you could get out of it. So for him
Yeah.
to literally do that, because that guy went on a rant that day when he did that. So he
Yeah.
peed on it, and then he basically leaked all of the documents from his contract. And then I'm pretty sure you've seen this just like I've seen it. Like a lot of artists now are trying to go independent. They're no longer trying to sign the contract because there's a lot of nonsense going on in the fine print.
Yeah.
So to make a long story short, you know, Roddy Rich, he can. I mean, like I said, that's his personal opinion. He can literally feel open to that because yes, he's a new artist. Yes, it's a new era, and yes, he has different goals than these guys. These guys already like Kanye West already released College Dropout. Like I was listening to that song when I had a boombox. Jay-Z, his music's been around before the CD player. So these guys obviously have like a different. They come from a different time. They have a different perspective on it, and
Yeah.
honestly, they came up around majority of I would say when the corruption was just like this is the corruption, this is what it is, and there's no one's gonna try to step in and stop it. Like it is what it is. Like especially for Jay Z, he came up in a time where, if you're in the workplace and you're a black guy and they don't want you to be there, they'll just get rid of you, and there's nothing to really protect you. Versus now, if you're the black guy in the workplace and then they don't like you, you know they're gonna get rid of them before they get rid of you. In certain circumstances, whoever wants to be the whistleblower, what I'm saying. But yeah, like these guys, they've been through that element. They've been through the pain. They've been through the changes, and I honestly feel like they have every right to feel how they feel because if you take it on that perspective and follow that element, you can understand why they have mixed feelings about the Grammys or winning the award, especially with Kanye. The whole time when I think Taylor Swift won her award and he felt like Beyonce should have won it. Whatever that situation was, like I said, Kanye has been in the game longer than anyone from our generation or the generation after us. So
Yeah.
his perspective is going to be completely different, especially now this year. Like you see what happened. I think Billie Eilish won an award, and she got extremely emotional because she felt like it really belonged to Meg Thee Stallion. So it
Mm.
just goes to show like this there's more to it than what we really see. But like I said, Roddy
Right.
Rich, by all means, that guy works hard. He puts out great records, and that's his opinion. And he can honestly, I feel like he's open to that opinion because he works hard, and to him, coming from a place where you don't really see a Grammy, you probably see like a gram of something. Coming from where he comes from and getting to where he got, all his accomplishments is probably significant to him. But based
Yeah.
on what I said with the older artists, Kanye, Jay Z, I can't relate to them because I get what they've gone through. I've seen me and you personally. We've grown up while the world kind of grew up as well, if that makes sense. So
Hmm.
we see the 2021, but we also saw the 1998, the 2000, the 2003. We saw the changes happening. You want to add anything to
Hmm.
that?
Yeah. Just one last thing. I think also, it's not even just like the fact that they're from a different generation. They're older. I think it's the knowledge that they've attained since being, entering into the music industry. Like they
Right.
know it's just a bunch of people in suits in a big room voting, and it's not necessarily what gets the best thing because there's so many questionable wins over the years. So maybe that's why Jay Z drank out of it and Kanye pissed on it because it's like this essentially doesn't matter. And you see a lot of artists. That's like a new wave. Like you see a lot of artists saying like I don't do it for the Grammy. Like there's literally been bars that said I'm not doing it for the Grammy.
Right.
And even Drake said that, one of the most decorated artists of our generation that said stuff like that. So I think that's where it comes from. Their experience and what they see, the actual value of that trophy. Even though at one point it was the end all be all for a music artist.
Yeah, even Little
Um,
Wayne because he wasn't invited. Yeah.
oh
So
yeah, so he did tweet about
yeah,
that. I saw
yeah,
that.
he did.
Yeah, so that was interesting. um, so for the what in the world topic, I wanted to discuss how there's this video that went viral on the Now This News website. How in Texas there was this woman in a bank, and she went viral because she caused up this whole stir because they were trying to make her wear a mask when she was there to do her banking. And her being the dummy that she was, she ended up face first on the floor in handcuffs because she's thinking she could do things her way. And in the video, you see it escalating. She's like, "Oh, what are you gonna shoot me? You gonna shoot me because I don't have a mask on?" Now everybody knows we talked about it last week on episode 7 that the Texas governor, no, that was 8 actually. The Texas governor raised all restrictions and got rid of the mask mandates and all that. So you have a bunch of people in Texas now thinking you can't tell them nothing, even as if they didn't think that before. And so she's like, "Oh, well, didn't you hear? Like, it's free. We don't have to wear it. We don't have to wear it." He's like, You're in a bank. This is a private owned business. You do have to wear it." So she just kept going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and she was just, you see, she was being a Karen basically, and you saw it on the tape where she was just like, "Oh, you're pressing my arm into my private parts." Like, what? Like, you sound wild right now, but you see it escalating on tape, and I like when that's shown because it's showing people. This is what Karens do. Like, nothing can become something because they're exaggerating something. But I also don't like how it looks because it's embarrassing for Americans. Like, that's the example of the ugly American. That's what she was being. So it was just sad to see because, she did get taken to jail. I don't know. I haven't heard any updates about it, but what do you think about it? Because I thought it was just crazy.
Yeah, I thought it was crazy as well. And honestly, I feel like people need to look at that and use it as a prime example. Like, listen, it's 2021. We should all be on the same level mentally, where we can understand that, like, it's a bank. A bank obviously has its own rules, its own procedures, and this is someone who works here telling me like what they expect of me in order to help me. So if I'm gonna make a scene, how am I gonna get the help? It's like
Right.
It's like going to a car dealership. You're telling these guys something is wrong with the car. They're troubleshooting it. They're telling you exactly what's wrong with it, but you're telling them they need to troubleshoot harder. It's like, bro, I just told you what was wrong with the car. What do you mean? So the
Right.
fact that people feel as though they can walk into an organization and do something like that after you're literally being like, how long do you spend? How much time do you spend in the bank? What, 20 minutes? 30 minutes if you're opening an account.
Probably.
It's only 25 or 30 minutes of your life that you're going to be in this building, and then you can go outside and take off your mask. Is that really that hard to do? Do you really have to be in jail right now feeling stupid and trying to get a collect phone call to get someone to actually care about you to bail you out? It's just, how far are you willing to take it, and when is it going to stop? That's just the number one. That's just my take on it. How far are we going to take it, and when is it going to stop? We see Karens going viral every day. Do we really need more? Do we really need to see more of these people getting locked up, or even losing their lives in most cases? Something needs to be done.
Nope.
And people need to wake up.
Yep, totally agree. That's all I had to say on that. So what do you got for us for your Hear Me Out topic this week?
All right, so for my Hear Me Out topic for this week, it's kind of funny that I chose this. So it's basically why monitoring what you eat is the best thing you can do for yourself. I'm pretty sure you've heard, just like I heard growing up, it's about what you eat. What you eat is what you are, basically, essentially. So if you're someone who goes to McDonald's every day and you're walking around complaining about how you feel sluggish, or you can't get up in the morning, or you can't do everything your friends are doing, well, go figure. You are what you eat. And honestly, it's kind of sad when you look at like the United States and you look at like countries like Italy, or like countries where people kind of appreciate going outside to enjoy nature versus trying to compete with the next person, or being so stuck in Instagram where you don't even see like who's in the mirror. Because we have those people out there. We have people who, they dive into these celebrities in their Instagram and what they like, their mirror pics after a workout, and it's like in their head, as they keep scrolling, they feel like that's their life. They don't post any pictures, but they refuse to look in. It's like having a bad credit score. You refuse to open Credit Karma, but once your credit score is popping, that's when you're in Credit Karma every second just to reload it. But it's no different. These people, they refuse to look in the mirror because they know, based on what they eat, what the mirror is going to show. But the main reason why I chose this topic is because people need to be more aware of what they put in their body. You're not going to go outside and put your mouth on an exhaust pipe and tell your friend to rev the car, because you already know what's going to happen to you. So if you're going to take something from outside, you didn't prepare it. You don't really know where it came from. You know it's processed, but you only focus on the taste of it. Then I could just go buy a pack of chicken right now, not clean it, not do anything to it. Just roll it in some barbecue sauce and put it on the stove and say here, and then tell you to eat it because it tastes good. But you know that negative bacteria is going to be on it. You know everything that you don't need to ingest in your body is going to be on it. But you're going to eat it because of the taste. So people need to kind of wake up and smell the coffee and think about the long term. We're very smart. We have access to millions and millions and millions of elements of information just by picking up our phones and going on Google or testing out some research. We don't have to go into 100 different encyclopedias to get the information that we're looking for. So the fact that we have the apps, we have all the information here that can help us make the right decision as far as eating, regulating a certain diet and expediting our living process. I feel like a lot of us need to kind of take it on. A lot of people, they need to stop going to McDonald's. They need to stop, just chill with the fast food, try to make food in the house, work out, and just be more healthy. Because at the end of the day, if we're all healthy and we're all on the same page, we're all going to become a better society. And yeah, that's another reason why I chose this topic. I feel like we all need to get ready to rebuild our society, rebuild our civilization. Because as you know, COVID-19, it came in, it was like a wrecking ball. It destroyed all the things that we thought that were normal to do. So it basically hit the reset button for all of us, and society as a whole changed. So because society as a whole changed, I feel like that's the number one thing that we all need to change as well. Because I know we've all dealt with lockdown. We've all been depressed from lockdown at some point, and we've all stopped going to the gym at some point. So now that everything is starting to, unwind a little bit, and we're all in a position where we can begin doing things back, like going back to normal, I feel like that's like the number one thing that everyone should definitely take seriously. Do you have anything that you want to say about that?
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree with all that. It's definitely super important now. I don't know if I've said it on here, but I lost a ton of weight before. So the biggest I ever got to in my life was 202, and I always remember that. It was January 2017, and I've always had like kind of like a moderate body or whatever. But then like I got comfortable, and like I wasn't working out or nothing like that. So just eating. So that's how I got to that point, and I was like, nah. I looked in the mirror, I was like, this isn't me. Like I can't let this is gonna hurt me, my dating potential and all that. Like I can't be walking around like this. So
Yeah.
I started working towards it. And I worked in the gym at the time, so I had a bunch of people that would tell me the right information. One of my friends graduated a kinesiology degree, so I would pick her brain and find out stuff and little like tricks and methods and stuff. And so all that resulted in me losing 34 pounds. Yeah, I got to 168, and then I dropped some more too. But like I was
Wow,
also
that's
putting on
good.
muscle, like it wasn't just like So that felt like that made me feel so accomplished to the point where like the thing about losing weight is once you do that, you're set for life, because if you gain again, you know what you have to do. There's no more unknowns. You know what you have to
Right.
do for your body. So, and then I always tell people too, like when it comes to like to looking good, having good physique, it's like 70% eating and 30% working out. People always think it's working out, but that's not the only thing. Like
Yeah, it's mostly
working
diet.
out is like working out is you toning your body for what you prepared for your body to go through with you eating right. So, if you just work out and you're not eating right, you're making it hard on yourself. It's kind of like one step forward, two steps back type of thing. So how you eat is super important. You already said like with all the chicken and everything, the bacteria, that's very real. We know if anybody's seen like Super Size Me. I remember we saw that. I think that was in South Orange Middle. We saw that.
Yeah.
And the stuff that goes in your system is so processed, and they be injecting the breasts of chicken and stuff like that so it's more meaty. And it's like, that's wild. Just the things that people put in their body. I mean, granted, some people are living very below means. I mean, like super low means because that's all they can afford. So they might be eating
Yeah.
McDonald's 3-4 nights a week, unfortunately. But if you can eat other things and eat healthier, then you should, because we're not guaranteed. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. Like you can have something come from the bacteria of the food you're eating, or something from being processed, and then that could be your life. So
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
huge. That's all I
At
have to
the end
say
of
on
the day,
that.
McDonald's is only going to say sorry if somebody dies from something. Yeah, it's going to be a settlement, but they're going to just
You
say
can't sue
sorry.
them.
Yeah, they're just going to say sorry.
Even Yeah, even so, like even if you could link it to them, that's still I wouldn't like my chances going into a lawsuit against McDonald's. I think $26 billion a year industry.
Yeah,
That's they're gonna get the best lawyers. So I
yeah,
wouldn't even
exactly.
like my chances going into that. But still, can't get that life back.
Right.
You
And
know.
as far as you losing weight, did you? So the only thing you changed was like your diet. That's the only thing that you kind of changed and working out a little
No.
more.
So here's the formula. So of course, it was eating right, but it's like so I did a calculation with the one I was saying that I graduated kinesiology degree, and so
Hmm.
like she was telling me what I need. So I have like my regular daily caloric intake, and then like we calculated some things that way we reduced it. For me, it ended up being like 550 calories less than what I needed to maintain my weight. Obviously, I didn't want to maintain; I wanted to lose. So it was daily caloric intake. I would totally cut out sugary drinks besides one a day. I allow myself one sugary drink a day, and I would usually save that for dinner. I also would try not to eat after like 8:30, 9 p.m. And then, working out. So I work out 5 days a week, two muscles a day. And then I do cardio at the end of every workout. So at least for 20 minutes. So like those are like the main things I did. And that would help. And so I gained some weight during the quarantine and pandemic and all that. So I've been dropping that. Like, once the gym opened back up in like September, I think it was, I was bulking for like 4 months. And since then, I've been cutting. So yeah, obviously getting ready for summer. So I noticed 2 days ago. So I calculated it all. In 26 days, I lost 10 pounds in the
That's
past. So
good.
now it's been 28 days since then. But just to get back, not like I said, it's that knowing what to do now. Like it's not like, oh, how do I lose weight? Like I know what to do. I just gotta have that willpower to do it. And I'd like to go on vacation. So like I'm not trying to be somewhere with with roles. Like personally, I know that's not something I want to do. I
Yeah.
mean, if you have that, like it's whatever. As long as you're healthy, that's just personally not where I want to be because then I feel self conscious about that. So that's how I did it.
Yeah, awesome.
Thanks. For my humor topic, I wanted to talk about something that is very like interesting and that needs to be talked about more often. Like it's about therapy and its benefits. Um, that's one thing I love about this pandemic. How like therapy is a little less stigmatized. Like we still have a ways to go. Some people still look at therapy as like, oh, you're weak, you're sad. You need to talk to someone all the time. Like you're always in your emotions and all that.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily what therapy is. It can go like that, but that's just what we've seen in like movies and shows. So we think it's always like that. Like you're just laying down on a couch and on the verge of tears the whole time. But it's not like that. So because of this pandemic, this has obviously been a rough time for most people. A lot of people have gotten divorces. A lot of people have broken up. A lot of people have just been depressed, because of everything going on and not really seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, especially early on. So now it's more common. There's a lot more people talking about I have a therapist. I personally have a therapist, and I think it's a good thing just because it's just someone that I think you can open up to like without having to hold back. So when I was younger, I actually was in it. I'm not sure if it was like middle school or elementary, but I never asked my mom, but I'm assuming it was because like I grew up without a dad, and like that obviously has a negative effect on kids, especially a boy without your
Yeah.
dad. So I never asked her why. I probably asked her later, but so I was in there earlier and then this summer, I don't think I told you, but like I went through like a really bad breakup like this past summer, and that kind of like just rocked my whole world because like that was like I really thought that was like the one, and so that's why I was like, all right, let me go back into it, just like open minded. We're already going through a tough year, and so I'm not still in it because of the breakup. Like I'm past that. I'm still in it because I realize how beneficial it is for life in general. Like I think there's two main benefits to therapy, and one being like I said, like you don't have to hold back. So you can be, I don't care how close you are with a friend or family member, you can be more no filter, like, when you speak with someone than your therapist. Because there's going to be stuff you tell your family you don't want to tell your friends. Stuff you tell your
Yeah.
friends you don't want to tell your family.
It's
Stuff you
true.
tell your coworkers you don't want to tell your friends and family. Stuff you tell your friends and family you don't want to tell your coworkers. Well, this person, you can tell them everything to. They're not going to judge you. And if they do, they're not going to tell you how they judge you. They're going to give you expert advice. So I think that's like such a beneficial thing. And then the other thing is patterns. Like I think so many people are born, they live their life, and they die, and they don't realize certain patterns that they may have based off of their past experiences and how
Yeah.
they perceive things. So I think I've always been so fascinated with that. And I don't know if I told you this before, but like after writing, my next like big passion is like I want to become a therapist. Like I'm looking into that possibly, but I think that's such a cool thing to be able to like study people because I like behavioral scientists to like study people and help them through something with expert advice and to get
Yeah.
them like see different perspectives. So that's why I think therapy is like such a beneficial thing because it's like I said, it's not like always like we see in like SVU or something where it's like you're lying on a couch and like you're about to
Yeah. No.
cry. Like
No.
you're just talking about life and you're realizing things and how you process things and all that. So I think it's a cool thing that I'd like to see even less stigmatized as time goes on. But what are your thoughts on it?
So my thoughts around it are, me personally, I have actually thought about going to therapy because, just like you, like I grew up without a father as well. And I don't know, I kind of felt like anything that I went through, just like how you said, there are things that you can talk to friends about that you won't necessarily talk to family about, and vice versa. There are a whole bunch
Mm-hmm.
of things that I went through that obviously I'm not going to talk to my mom about it because like I'm a guy, and guys,
Right.
we as a guy, just as much as I know, we go through completely different things. I've probably gone through things that my mom never even like thought of going through.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as seeking therapy, it's not something that I have personally got around to, but it's definitely something that has crossed my mind. Because I noticed that whenever I go through something personally, I I develop ways to get through it. Like, for example, you said you went through a bad breakup. I went through a bad breakup when I was what, like 21 years old, 20 years old, and
Mm-hmm.
what I had to do to get through it was basically learn how to shut off my feelings completely. And then in the long run, it ended up burning me because when I started meeting people who were actually into me for me, I wasn't there. And they were there 100%. They were telling me, things that they liked about me, but I didn't really know anything that I liked about me because I turned my emotions off completely. So I wouldn't
Yeah,
be,
emotionally unavailable.
yeah, I wouldn't be beating myself up about what this girl did to me, and it took a lot of manning up for me to realize that. And that's ultimately what brought me to the decision that maybe I should talk to a therapist because I can't keep, walking around with a straight face and just like not caring about what anyone has to say to me. It got to the point where, I was speaking, I would have a conversation with my mom. My mom would be the one showing all the emotion, the laughter, and then I'll be trying to figure out where to pull a smile from. So it's
Right.
it definitely hits deeper than what a lot of people think. And me personally, it's not like I was trying to take my life or anything like that. But these are things that I personally noticed in myself because of a particular situation and how I reacted to it because I had no one to talk to and I just wanted to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely feel as though it is something that people should take seriously because like getting therapy is the main thing that it is someone giving you a point of view. Like you said, it's a professional opinion, but it's ultimately someone giving you their point of view on how you should be handling a situation. It's like if every kid who grew up in the projects knew how to invest or knew how to manage their money, if someone was there to basically give them that point of view or say like, hey, you grew up here, but so let's say that person spoke to them like in 2008. If all of you put, your entire paycheck from Wendy's into Bitcoin, you're going to be millionaires in 2021. Like that's all it takes, literally. If someone were to do that,
Yeah.
it would change their point of view, and then they will all be millionaires right now. And then they would want to take that energy and shift it towards something else other than, dealing on the streets or getting into the back of a police car. But it just goes to show you how
Right.
easy it is to kind of, be around a positive environment and get the necessarily input that you need to make that change. And
Mm-hmm.
so let's kind of like shift it a little bit. So me personally, this is another reason why I came to this conclusion about me possibly needing to seek therapy, because I noticed a lot of people that we went to high school with. A lot of them are either the same, and a lot of them are just like not here at all. And what they do to get by is just like smoke weed all day. And
Mm.
it's kind of sad to me. A lot of them they either smoke weed or they're alcoholics. But you can't tell them they're alcoholics because they're not going to believe you. But I'm the
Yeah,
person
yeah,
who
denial.
sees what you do. Yeah, I see your patterns all the time. That's another thing that you brought up, like patterns. Like that's not something that you get to notice. But if you're getting professional advice, you're gonna hear about those patterns. And
Mm-hmm.
like a while ago, that's actually this is actually a different element as far as patterns. But I actually met someone who worked for a phone company, and he kind of explained to me how this man looked me in my eyes and he told me like, dude, I can tell you the majority of people who are in this area who are gonna die in the next 5 years based on what they do when they leave work. Like I have people that I literally I can see their location because they have it enabled, number one, And number two, when they leave work, they go straight to Smash Burger. You know, they go pick up the kids and then they go straight home and they lay down because
Yeah.
that location is dead after that. After 6 o'clock, every single day, this person we don't get any activity. You know, so
Mm.
the fact that someone could look at me and literally tell me that kind of shifted my mind to kind of believe like what you just brought up. And you know, it's just kind of sad that a lot of people they think of it as this thing that's like they will never do
So
because
dramatic.
yeah, it's like you know I'm watching a movie, I see this girl crying, I ain't gonna be crying in front of nobody I don't know. You know that's like the mindset that these people
Yeah.
have. But honestly, I feel like if it comes down to it, you're gonna be crying in front of your therapist. Hey, like that's you being a man at the end of the day because you're doing what you can to
Strength.
help yourself. Yeah, and then you're gonna feel better. You're gonna feel better when you leave that session because you're gonna realize what was really hurting you, and you're not gonna try
Hmm.
to put up a front or a fence to ignore what's been hurting you all these years. So you know, for anyone who definitely chooses to go to therapy, I recommend it 100% because I definitely believe that it's something that is essential, especially with everything that we deal with now, you know, in this world that
Yeah.
we have now. And honestly, it's a blessing that your mom had you doing that, or you, the fact that she thought about that. Like that's you should give her a hug for that because that's huge and that's awesome. And especially
Yeah.
now with what kids go through now with the TikTok, the Twitter, you know, is you know, hey, you wear the wrong outfit to school one day, you're gonna be
You get
all over TikTok.
inflamed.
Yeah, you're getting inflamed
Yeah.
on more than one. Imagine, imagine you were the wrong you wear a fake Ralph Lauren shirt to school because these kids in high
It's a
school are
wrap.
ruthless.
Yep.
Imagine you're a retweet, you're a share on Facebook, you're a share on Instagram, you're in someone's Instagram story. There's so many places where you could be a victim now. So like
Yep.
if you're a kid now, like I feel like you need therapy more than anything else because kids they don't think about
Yeah.
like what's gonna happen. You know, like, oh, I'm a bully, I should stop. No, that's not happening. Like it's gonna be that kid making fun of you, and then it's gonna be that kid's friends making fun of you, and then it's gonna be the whole other side of the
Hmm.
school making fun of you. So that just goes to show how important therapy is, and that's an amazing topic.
Yeah. And lastly, I just want to say, like, it's a sign of strength, not weakness, to like, talk about things. And it's to me,
Yeah,
it's like you just want to lighten your load. Like if you go to therapy, you just want to lighten your load of the stuff you have to carry around in your own mind all the time. That's like that causes you trouble. And then also go back on what you said, like the way you would deal with it, like when you dealt with the situation when you were 21. It's like you made yourself less emotionally available. Kind of like is the way I look at that is it's like there's so many ways that we would deal with things in place of therapy when we don't have therapy that could be unhealthy. Like in your situation, you said it wasn't healthy because like you weren't emotionally there. And I think
yeah,
also something I noticed, like with the breakup thing last summer, it's like if we weren't in a pandemic, like I would have just like been going to bars more often, talking to different girls, getting involved with different girls, and going out, hanging out with friends more. Just all this stuff to pile on, so I don't have to think about it.
yeah, and
But
just
now that we're in a
ghosting.
pandemic, all that. But now that we're in a pandemic, you don't have that choice. You have to just sit there with those feelings, whatever feelings you may be feeling from whatever just happened. So it's definitely needed now more so than ever. But I hope even after the pandemic, it's more of a popular thing to talk about and just involve in your regular day, your everyday life.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so I had to say on that. We thank you for joining us for season 2, episode 9 of the What You're Thinking podcast. I'm Eric,
I'm Vince.
and we'll see you next week.